My question is to the Minister for Aged Care. I refer the Minister to her answer last week that 869 new nurses would be needed for Labor's 24/7 nurses in aged care policy. In April, when asked about the number of nurses needed to deliver 24/7 nursing, the now Minister for Home Affairs said, "We will need to bring in low thousands, somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 new people."
Minister for
Was
Home
the
Affairs.
Minister for Home Affairs wrong, or did you, Minister, mislead the House?
I give the call to the Minister for Aged Care and Sport.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I
Order.
welcome the opportunity to talk about workforce shortages and the numbers of workforce shortages, specifically about those numbers that came out in estimates. I think it was the 1st of April off the top of my head where these numbers were being discussed. I think what's important to note here, Mr Speaker, is that these numbers were the modelling of the then Morrison government when being told about workforce shortages. The difference, Mr Speaker, is that we are actually doing something about it. We are doing something about workforce shortages. They were given a secret report that, and the theme of today, that they chose not to tell people about. They were told the bad news and they decided not to tell Australians anything about it and to try and skate through. So yes, when we're talking about workforce, there are different numbers for different things, and the 869 was for
the Minister will resume her seat. The Deputy Leader on a point of order.
On relevance, Mr Speaker, the question was the member for Hotham wrong?
Resume your seat. Resume your seat. Thank you for the point of order. There is no order. There is no point of order. The Minister is referring to the question regarding numbers and the relevant answer regarding last week and the reference to the former Shadow Minister. So I'll give the call to the Minister.
So yes, the number is still 869. It was also 869 when you didn't do anything about it, and it was thousands when we add the 200 care minutes, which is the other commitment that you speak about often. And I think the thing to note, Mr Speaker, when perplexedly asking us about where all these workers are going to come from, it was a problem that you chose to do nothing about. You had this problem for years and years and years. And Mr Speaker, probably worth noting at this point, when we talk about aged care workforce shortages, where did it all stem from? It stemmed from December 2013, when one of the first actions of the Abbott government was to cut the aged care workforce compact.
Has the Minister concluded her answer? All right. A point of order from the Manager of Opposition
Mr Speaker,
Business.
The new Minister should not be using the term you. That's a reference to you as a Speaker.
Yes, I thank the Manager. Order. I thank the Manager of Opposition Business for that point. That is creeping into question time. I ask the Minister to refrain from using that term and to return to the question.
You are sensitive. And if that's the most searing critique they have of me when talking about aged care workforce shortages, I think it says a lot about what they did with their time. I will return to the question. So when we talk about workforce shortages, this started December 2013, when one of the very first acts of the Abbott government was to suspend standing orders in the House to cut the aged care workforce compact, which was one of the first things that cut workers' rights and put us down this trail. Who was the Health Minister at this very moment when orders were suspended? Who was the Health Minister? The now Leader of the Opposition. He was the one who was the Health Minister when they suspended standing orders to cut the aged care workforce compact, one of the things that set us down this path with terrible workforce shortages, which we're upfront about this, will require thousands of workers to come back online to fix the problem. And that's why we're trying to give them a pay rise. We will need 869 nurses to meet our 24/7 nursing requirement. That was the question you asked me on Thursday. That is the question I answered. I think, Mr Speaker, you said, want a different answer, ask a different question. That was the number. Broadly, as you well know from the secret report that you chose to do nothing about, thousands of personal carers, thousands of kitchen staff, thousands of other staff in aged care are going to be required to get to what, at the end of the day, Mr Speaker, is talking about a better standard of care. They're quibbling over how we work to get a better standard of care, and really, after 9 years of neglect, a better standard can't come soon enough.
Order. The Minister's time has expired.